What is up, guys? If you're watching this video, you are interested in a 101 guide on exactly how to craft in Last Epoch. Well, that's exactly what you're going to be getting in this video with no wasted time. So let's hit I to open up our inventory and F to open up our forge, and I'm going to show you the basics of how to craft in Last Epoch. Now, this will not be covering advanced topics. If you're interested in that, click the subscribe, like the video. I'm going to be having more topics on advanced crafting. But for today, we're going to show you, if you're just getting into the game, how to craft in a no-nonsense guide. So let us say I have this flaming sacrificial staff of conflagration, this particular staff here. Now, what you're going to see on the top left of the screen is that this cannot be crafted, guys. That is because it has 0 forging potential. When an item has 0 forging potential, it means that it can no longer be improved with crafting. What does crafting actually affect? Well, if you look at the item underneath its name, you're going to see the type of item it is. In this case, we have a two-handed staff. And then you're going to see its base attack rate and 2 or 3 different things underneath it called the implicits of the item. We're not going to be discussing what implicits are too much here, but just suffice it to say these roll on a different type of item. So an axe is going to have different implicits than a piece of armor, and these are basically base stats that the item is going to have. Underneath these is going to be what's called affixes, and they'll generally will have 2 affix slots that are prefixes and 2 that are suffixes. What this means is that basically on the left-hand side of your screen here, you're going to have 2 prefixes, in this case, spell critical strike chance and melee fire damage, and 2 suffixes, chance to ignite on hit, chance to chill on hit. Really, you don't need to worry about that too much, guys. All these are telling you is, hey, if I want to do, let's say, a fire build, I want to have a chance to ignite on hit. So since this has 0 forging potential, let's throw it out here for a minute. Let's get something we can actually improve. We're going to be picking this Warrior Spike Great Club of Acid. So let's say we are a melee type character, and we like this idea about doing chance to shred armor on hit. So we want to just destroy the enemy's armor. So we see right here that this is a tier 1. So what this means, guys, is in the base game, when you're leveling up your items until you get to empowered items, you will have 1 to 5 tiers. Each of these tiers has a set of rolls, and these rolls can be different. So tier 1 might be 0 to 20, tier 2 might be 20 to 40, tier 3 might be 40 to 60, onwards and onwards until you get some of the best rolls. But there is going to be randomness in every single roll. So every tier 5 is not going to be the same. Every tier 1 is not going to be the same. But a tier 5 will always be better than a tier 1. So that's the simplified guide here. Now you see here that even though we have up to 4 affixes that can be on this item only has 3 affixes. It has 2 prefixes, void damage and physical damage. But on its suffixes, it only has 1, chance to shred armor on hit. So let's say we wanted to add something. What we could do is we could click this plus button here, and we could put something on here that is available to be applied. So let's say, for instance, we say, you know what? Since this is a poison club, we really like the idea chance to poison on hit. So I can put that there, and then I can add this affix. Now remember that this has a set amount of forging potential, in this case 20. It says that it costs 1 to 18 to add this affix. I will tell you guys, this tends to roll on the safer side of the average. So the average would be 9. It will probably roll somewhere between a 5 and a 7. It can roll up to 18, but these high rolls are very unlikely. Another thing that you should be doing in the early game is, if you have them, always use a Glyph of Hope. This modifies the outcome of a craft, giving it a 25%, so 1 in 4 chance to have no forging potential cost. So when your items in the early part of the game have very low forging potential, you want to be making sure, guys, that you're making every use of Glyph of Hope, because you don't have that much forging potential to work with. So we've already added this affix. Let's say we were going to do add poison on hit. So we click that. Now it's ready to be added. We just hit add affix. And there we go, guys. Now it has a tier 1 chance to poison on hit. Now let's show you how to actually upgrade this item. Now, if let's say we wanted to upgrade our chance to shred armor on hit, we could hit this little plus sign. And right now it's a tier 1. So let's say between 0 and 20 is its roll. Now we can actually upgrade this affix and you see now it's a tier 2. So we've learned 2 things here, guys. We've learned how to actually add an affix when it's not there, and we've learned how to upgrade an affix when it is there, but we want it to be a higher tier. Now remember, there's 5 tiers, guys. So let's say we wanted to do something different, though. Let's say we wanted to actually remove an affix and we didn't like it on an item. So what we can do is we can go to a glyph of... We can actually do several things here, but in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to have a glyph of chaos. Now what this does is when you actually use this, it randomly changes an upgraded affix to a different one that can spawn on this item type. So this is basically gambling, guys. When we put this glyph of chaos here, we will upgrade one of these to another tier. So it will upgrade chance to poison on hit, chance to shred armor on hit, physical damage, or void damage. One of these will go up at least 1 rank. The issue is we don't know what it is, and we don't know which one it will target. So it could target void damage, which maybe we want on the item, or it could target chance to poison on the hit, but one will be rerolled to a different affix that is a higher level than what it has now. So let's just use this and see what happens. So in this case, it changed our affix to health on kill, which isn't too bad. So that's what a glyph of chaos does. I will tell you guys that when you're starting out in the game, I would only really use glyph of hopes and glyphs of chaos. Most of the other items here you're not going to really be using because they're for very specific scenarios that's above the tier of a 101. So it's above leveling. These are the 2 that you're going to use primarily in the leveling process. Now, what we can also do in the modifier items, guys, though, is use what's called a Rune of Shattering. Let's say we have this item, but we actually really want these, let's say, actual affixes. Let's say we want the physical damage tier 4 here. We really, really like this. What we can do is we can shatter this item, destroy it, and actually get some of these back. So let's shatter this particular item, and we see a physical damage shard got sent to the forge, a health on kill shard got sent to the forge, and a void damage shard got sent to the forge. Now this is somewhat random, guys. You will not be guaranteed to get all the affixes, but a great thing you can do is it for items that you don't like or you will never use. Let's say I'm using 2-handed weapons and I get this, let's see, Abyssal Gladius of Stillness. So this is a 1-handed sword. I will never use this. I want these shards that it has, the melee attack speed. So I just want to shatter this and bang, it gets shattered and I get +2 increased stun chance, +1 melee attack speed. So these glyphs of shattering are very useful in the early game, guys, and I wanted to show you that in the 101 guide because you can buy these from vendors very, very early on and then just shatter the stuff that you're not using. So now, guys, basically I've talked you through on weapons, but you might say, well, what about armors? Let's take a piece of armor and see how it's very, very similar. So we're going to take out a Rune of Shattering here, guys, because we actually do not want to shatter here. So here we go on this gloves. Now this is Noble Gloves of Fortification. So it works just the same on armor, guys, except these particular things that you can affix to the item are going to be different. So you can see that, let's say, on the prefixes, we get melee attack speed. On the gloves, makes sense. It helps you basically attack faster. But on the suffixes, we get things like void resistance. So a lot of your armor pieces will come with resistances. So just be aware that not all of these that you have can be applied to every piece of gear. So for instance, cast speed may not be applied to certain pieces of gear. Same with throwing attack speed. So be aware of that. I hope this was very helpful, guys. I tried to make this as simple as possible to kind of guide you through the 101 of crafting. Now, I'm going to have further guides that delve more into what all of these are, the different modifier runes, like Rune of Refinement, Rune of Removal, Rune of Discovery, Rune of Creation, and a lot of the support glyphs. But I wanted to keep this video very simple, guys, so if you're just starting in the game, I would highly recommend you start crafting and actually using what I showed you today from level 1, guys. So as soon as you're getting gears, you can shatter them, you can upgrade your gear. There's no need to wait, guys. And then you can literally, as you get better gear, just shatter the gear you used before and continue to improve your gear. So I hope this was helpful, guys. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos to teach you these concepts in Last Epoch. So if you're interested in this, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like the video, and thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you in the next one.